Can I actually afford a $1 million house in 2027? Let's find out. Because a $1 million house used to sound like something only celebrities bought. Now, in many US cities, it's just a normal family home. But here's the real question. Who can actually afford one? Not who gets approved, not who stretches themselves, who can truly afford it without drowning in debt. Let's do the math. First, let's talk about the price. A $1 million house in 2027. Most buyers won't pay that in cash. They'll use a mortgage. So let's assume a normal scenario. You put down 20%. That's $200,000 up front, which already eliminates most Americans. But let's keep going. That leaves an $800,000 mortgage. Now let's talk about the monthly payment. At interest rates similar to what we've seen recently, that payment would be roughly $5,000 to $6,000 per month. And that's just the mortgage. We're not done yet. You still have to pay property taxes, home insurance, maintenance, and repairs. When you add everything together, a $1 million house easily costs $6,000 to $7,000 per month. Now comes the brutal part. How much income do you need to afford that? Most financial guidelines say your housing should be no more than 30% of your income. So if your house costs $6,000 per month, you'd need to make about $20,000 per month. That's $240,000 per year before taxes. And that's to live comfortably. Not barely survive, not panic every time the car breaks. Comfortably. Which means the people who can truly afford a $1 million house in 2027 are dual income professionals, doctors, engineers, lawyers, business owners, and people with help from family wealth, not the average worker. Now here's where it gets dangerous. Banks don't care about comfort. They care about approval. If you and your partner make, say, $180,000 combined, a bank might still approve you. But approval does not mean affordability. Because once you buy the house, your lifestyle gets trapped. Your money goes to the mortgage. Your freedom goes to the job. And your stress goes up. That's the hidden cost of expensive homes. You don't just buy a house, you buy a lifestyle that requires high income forever. And if one person loses their job, or gets sick, or wants to slow down, the house becomes a financial prison. This is why so many people who look rich actually feel broke. They have a beautiful home and no breathing room. Now let's talk about the people who really win. The people who can afford a $1 million house without fear are people who have low debt, have strong savings, have stable income, and most importantly, don't spend every dollar they earn, because real affordability isn't about the house price. It's about the margin. Margin is what's left after you pay for life. If your house takes most of your income, you don't own the house. The house owns you. Here's the uncomfortable truth. In 2027, a $1 million house will not be a luxury, but affording one will be. Most Americans will be priced out, not because they failed, but because prices rose faster than incomes. So when you see someone buy a $1 million home, there are only three possibilities. They earn a lot, they got help, or they're stretched thin, and you can't tell which one it is just by looking. Now here's the important question. Should you even want a $1 million house? Because wealth is not the same as lifestyle. A smaller house with low stress beats a big house with constant pressure. A paid-off modest home beats a mansion with anxiety. The real flex isn't the house. It's choice. The choice to change jobs. The choice to take time off. The choice to not panic when life hits. And that only comes from buying less than you can afford. So can you afford a $1 million house in 2027? Only if your income is high enough, your debt is low enough, and your lifestyle is controlled enough. And most people fail on the third one. Because the biggest problem isn't the house. It's everything else. Cars, subscriptions, eating out, lifestyle upgrades. The house just finishes the job. So before you ask, can I get approved? Ask a better question. Can I breathe after I buy it? Because if the answer is no, then it's not a dream house. It's a stress machine. If this video helped you see housing differently, subscribe to Quiet Wealth. Because real wealth isn't about looking rich. It's about not being trapped. And the math doesn't care about your feelings. It only cares about your income, your debt, and your choices.